Maine is gorgeous. You get the bright reds and yellows and oranges. When you're on the water, especially looking down the bay, it's a sight to see, and it also signifies something to fishermen. Once you see the sea of red colors on the trees, that means that the next bunch of lobsters is going to come out. As it starts to turn, it's not as pretty. You get the leaves falling off, and the reds and the yellows turn to browns, and then the bitter cold strikes. It's always a sad day for me when we get our first frost and you wake up in the morning and your windows are covered and you just know that the next thing around the corner is the snowfall. My name is Brittany Dunbar, and I'm a commercial lobster fisherman off the coast of Korea, Maine. Lobster fishing is not easy. It's not for the weak. There are many days when you wake up, it's either raining or the wind is whipping and you don't want to go to haul today. The last place you want to be is in the middle of a cold ocean. You do it because that's what we do. What scares me the most about fishing is not coming home to my children. It's always a risk that you take with Mother Nature. That's what goes through my mind all the time. When I'm on the boat, all I think about is Gunner and pray to God that I can make it home to him at night. You're minuscule compared to the sea, and that's why you have to respect it so much. If you don't, it will eat you alive. It will take you in and swallow you whole. I went to law school in Nashville, and I could be anywhere practicing law right now, but there was this draw and this pull to come back home fishing. My dad's a fisherman, my brother's a fisherman, my uncles and cousins and friends are all fishermen. And I hope that one day my son will be a fisherman too. Fishing is definitely in my DNA. I am a fifth-generation fisherman. I think I'm related to half the people, if not more, that fish out of my harbor. My great-great-grandfather actually lost his life on the water. He hit a rock outside of Korea Harbor. I never met him, but my father remembers the day that he passed away. My grandfather was a fisherman and fished up until he was almost 90 years old. I think that if my grandfather saw me out there fishing, he'd be damn proud. The men in this community definitely come off tough and strong. I think that's the main way in growing up on the seas. It's kind of the sailor mentality. It's traditionally been a man's job to be out on the boat. I know it was harder for my mom. She can watch my dad go a million times, but she didn't want her daughter to be a fisherman. She didn't want me out on the sea. I mean, in some instances, yes, being a woman can make it more dangerous. Like if something were to go wrong, I can't pull quite as hard as a man might be able to pull on something. What I lack in strength, I make up for in other abilities. I think women are extremely good at multitasking and keeping perspective of multiple things. I think that's kind of been passed down generationally through women to women because they are mothers. Here, little girls are taught to go out and shoot their first deer with their dads and moms. My first memories of being out on the boat were mackerel fishing. My dad used to take us when we were younger. I used to love it. There was nothing I wanted more to be fishing on the boat or to be down by the co-op on the rocks when the mackerel were running. We used to have fish wars and fish fights, and it was a good time. I was a little tomboy, and so I loved being right in the middle of it. We have 5 female captains in Korea, and all but one of them have family ties to fishing. I remember the first female captain I saw, Jean was her name, and she was a retired nurse. She was one of the few people that had an education that actually went into fishing. I liked how all the guys, they kind of looked out for her. She fished on a 33-foot Young Brother. It's actually the same type of boat that I fish out of. My boat name is the Esquire. Because I'm an attorney, I decided to name it that. She is a classy, classy boat, and I like the looks of the old girl. The water gives us a lot, and it also takes a lot. When you're trying to make a decision on whether to go out to haul and the weather is rough, you really have to take into consideration the direction of the wind, the wave height, how deep the waves are, and how choppy it will be. You have to make sure that your crew is going to come home safe, and also that they feel comfortable when they're out there. You clearly don't want somebody who's afraid being out there. And every morning, it's best to go down and check out the weather for yourself. There's always fishermen that come down, and they end up having little powwows and talking it over and mulling it over and just making a decision. And you know, sometimes they make that decision together as a group. I'm always looking, you know, for knowledge from other people, and I'm willing to take other people's opinions and advice into consideration, especially when they're more experienced than me. I used to think it was fun to go out there in the rough weather. I didn't bat an eyelash. I'd go offshore when all the men weren't going, but being a mom has definitely changed that. I've had friends personally go over in trawls, and they've gone so deep down, so fast in the water that their eardrums burst and they had blood coming out of their orifices as they resurfaced, and they were just very, very lucky to still be alive at the end of the day. Gunnar looks up to his grandfather so much. He's going to want to be just like Papa. I think that it's in his blood, it's in his DNA to be out there on the water. I mean, he was in my belly at 9 months old out on the seas, rocking and rolling, and not many people can say that, right? They actually were on the ocean before they were born. He has 5 traps that I set out in the harbor for him and tally up his lobster count and set a little fund aside for him to hopefully be able to buy a boat in the future. his grandfather comes out to help babysit while we're out on the boat, and he just loves to see the different sea life. It's very sweet to see the bond that's building between them. My son wants to be just like Papa. In down East Maine, blood is thicker than water. You really rely a lot on your family here. Every time your boat breaks down and your dad or your brother or somebody with more experience and knowledge is there to help you, you learn a little bit so that maybe next time you'll be the person that gets to teach your kid how to do something. Most of these guys, if you took away fishing, they would have nothing. They don't have an education to fall back on. They've never done anything else. They have been doing this since they were in high school. Nature, it's their livelihood. So in the old days, they used to ring church bells to warn if there was a shipwreck, let everyone know that there was a sailor in need of rescue. We have the Coast Guard, but by the time that they would get here, lives would be lost, boats would be sunk, and a lot of times it's the fishermen that have to pick up that slack. We have like a call line. One person will call the next, and the call log keeps going around until everybody's notified so that we can go out there in the water and search for somebody. People come together, they really do in this town. We were built to survive here. I always knew I wanted kids. You know, I had my names picked out from a young age. I was in a relationship for 13 years, but I knew that he was not the one that I wanted to have my children with. I literally hadn't been independent at any point in my life, but I decided to take a leap of faith and step out on my own. I realized I was strong enough, financially capable, and independent enough that I could raise a kid by myself. I made an appointment with the IVF doctor, I found a donor, and the rest is history. He's my life. But there definitely is a lot more weight that is on me being a single mom. I don't have another person if something goes wrong on the water and there isn't another person there, there's not another parent there to step in and raise Gunner. And now I'm pregnant again and have Gunner at home. My last pregnancy was amazing and I was able to fish right up until I gave birth almost. This one has not been as easy. But my traps have to be out of the bay by the end of November or scallop season starts and they'll drag them and I won't have traps left. So I don't really have a choice. Being a captain, being behind the wheel, working hard, and coming home and feeling like you've accomplished something. It's what I grew up in. I love that I'm having boys with the Dunbar name. I do hope that one of them does decide to fish, because it is a legacy at this point, you know. I'm 5th generation gunner and hunter is in my belly. There'll be 6th generation fishermen. Yeah, watching. All the clouds pass on by. you.